In today's video, I'm going to show you how to increase and decrease the opacity on a video.
New message standing by.
It's really simple. There's two ways to do it. So let's jump into Premiere and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Okay, so as I mentioned in Premiere Pro, there's two ways to increase or decrease the opacity on a video. By taking a look here at our footage, the first way would be to look at the bar going across your piece of footage here. This bar, if I was to click and hold it down and then drag it, you could see that the opacity of your video is going down. If I was to bring it all the way down to 0, there would be no opacity. It would be black. If I was to bring it to its maximum, 100, then you have the full opacity of your video on screen. Another way to do this would be to look at the effects control. So when your video is selected and you go to effects control, right here where it says opacity, what you would do is click and drag the 100 value here. And if you drag to the left, it will decrease the opacity of your video. And if you drag it back to the right, it will increase the opacity of your video. Back to 100 or down to 0. It's up to you. So this is the first way of going about increasing or decreasing opacity. Either you click and drag the bar on the video, or you come to the toggle right here in effects control where it says opacity, and you could click and drag to the left to decrease, or click and drag to the right to increase the opacity of your video. The second way to go about it, if I click the letter P on my keyboard, it will select the pen tool. So I can come on my timeline here on my piece of footage and place some points with the pen tool on that bar. Okay, so like that I can create a ramp going up and a ramp going down. So I can increase the opacity and then decrease the opacity. Then I'll click the letter V for the selection tool. Then I could bring down the opacity on one side at the beginning to create the ramp up, and then bring down the last point on the piece of footage to decrease the opacity. So when the video is playing, you could see it ramps up, and then at the end here, it'll ramp down. Now, there's another way that you can do this as well. Still following these keyframes there, what we're going to be doing is a little bit different, but very, very similar. I'm just going to delete these points that I made with the pen tool. What I can do as well is bring my playhead, let's say right here, and then where it says 100, so I want at this point the opacity to be 100. So I'll go and click the little watch there to place a keyframe on the video right there. Then if I bring the playhead to the beginning, I want to make that 0, because like that it'll start from 0 and it'll ramp up. So this is another way of doing the second option to increase or decrease the opacity on the video. Now I can bring my playhead to, let's say, about here. Then it's at 100. So at this point, it would be 100. So I can click this little circle here to add another keyframe within the video. And then bring the playhead to the end right here, where I'm going to want to make it 0. Because like that, it will create the ramp down on the opacity. And that's basically it. These are the two ways to ramp up or ramp down the opacity, increase or decrease the opacity, depending on the method that you're choosing. And this is how we increase or decrease the opacity on videos in Premiere Pro. I hope you enjoyed the video. More content to follow shortly.
New message standing by.